On this episode of the OG and Crab Show, we are almost to spring training. Did the Pirates do enough? And the Steelers have a new head coach. Play me a song, Crab. And we are back from our deep winter hiatus. Welcome back to the OG and Crab Show. I'm OG, and sliding in next to me, at long last, is my partner, Crab. How's it going, Crab?
I have been snowed in since like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because we're in the midst of like over a foot of snow. It's like 2 degrees here right now. There's over 12 inches of snow outside. The kids haven't gone to school in several days. Nothing is happening. And I've had several alcoholic beverages today because there's nothing to do but drink. So I'm kind of hammered on this podcast. So let's let her rip, baby.
Yeah,
I'm going to try to do my best this year to not swear as much. So our friend Ethan from the Discord channel can listen to us with his daughter in the room and not have to like turn us off angrily, because he told us he had to like turn us off one time, and I was like, man, that sucks.
Yeah,
So,
I only
Ethan,
beat this when we're doing the YouTube shorts.
I'm gonna keep it PG, buddy, as PG as I can. I'll do my best. Cheers to you. Happy 2026, OG. We haven't seen each other in a while.
It is, yeah. Happy New Year. Now that we're at the end of January, we're saying Happy New Year. And I got down my way, we got like 6 inches of snow and then like 1.5 inches of, it's not ice, but it's like this hardened snow crust. And it was weird because it was like snow and then it turned into this sleet, and the sleet just compressed. And so anybody that got out there and was like real eager with the shoveling and thought they were getting ahead of the storm really screwed themselves, because they couldn't break through any of it the day after to try and clean it out. So now people just have this like shelf of like 1.5 inch thick hardened, it's not ice, but it's pretty close to ice. It's weird.
This is the kind of weather where you can put your beer outside for literally 10 seconds and get like ice cold beer. It's ridiculous.
For sure.
It's so cold outside
now.
It is cold. It is like, let's check and see on the old iPhone like what exactly the temperature here is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It is, according to, it is 5 degrees and it feels like -2. So yeah, it's cold AF out there, and it's unlikely to get any warmer. And we have, it just sucks, dude. There's nothing.
You know what else is cold?
Podcasting.
The stove. The stove is cold because our dear Ben Sherrington, after a flurry of activity to end 2025 with some updates to the Pirates roster, it's been all quiet all January.
Where did we leave off? I think we left off on are we going to sign Kyle Schwarber? Those were the halcyon days of like hope, and now we're back to despair. So where did we actually leave off?
Something like that. I'm just going to rattle off all the moves that I can remember from back in those days, yield 2025. They didn't get Schwarber, but they did trade for Jostinson Garcia. They sent our favorite pitcher, Johan Oviedo, up to Boston to get him back, along with some minor leaguer. I don't remember. It's not important. And then the big trade was a 3-way trade with the Astros and the Rays, where they sent Mike Burrows down to Houston. Houston sent a couple of guys the Rays wanted to the Rays, and the Rays sent the Pirates Jake Mangum.
We talked about him on like episode 10 of this show.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was a very early, like, who's this guy who never gets out?
See, we're ahead of the curve. We rule. Crab and OG forever. There's other people can get lost.
Brandon Lau, who was like the big headliner, he's a rental. He's only got 1 year before free agency, but he hits a lot of home runs. He's a good bat.
He hits a lot of home runs as a Ray.
He does.
Yet to be determined
That's true.
What he will do with loser energy cresting over him in waves because it's coming. Brandon Lau, get ready for loser energy, buddy, because it's going to hit you hard.
And there was also a reliever in that deal. I can't remember his first. Is it Mason Montgomery, I believe. He has really good stuff and questionable control, and there's hope that he can be an effective bullpen piece. We'll see. Might be another Kyle Nicholas type guy. And then, they also, before all of that, they signed as a free agent Gregory Soto, who has been a closer in the majors in the past and had not a great ERA last season, but his stuff ratings on the stuff models still rate him well. So he might be a setup guy. They also signed their first multi-year free agent, all two of them,
Since
all 2 years.
2016?
Since 2016.
All right. Who was the last one? Jaso?
I think it was Nova. It wasn't Ivan Nova.
Oh, Nova. Right.
So this is Ryan O'Hearn, who last year was an all-star.
Oh, Ryan O'Hearn. From Ireland, Ryan O'Hearn.
Giving us a preview of Greg Brown there, are you? Oh, he's going to call every at-bat.
Oh, my good Lord.
You're going to get the accents again. It's coming. You know it's coming.
It will come. Yeah. That's, well, as, like, to me, remember when we had a whole discussion on this show about how, like, they were going to get, there was a short out there of me saying, like, the future Pirates trades were going to be, like, a lot like what we saw at the trade deadline. And I think that the Pirates have done basically what we said they would do, which is they would get a grab bag of stuff, a Horwitz type of player, and they largely did that. Question to you, OG. Has their payroll gone up at all?
Marginally.
And marginally, what's
compared to like a couple $1 million compared to where they started last year? They're basically in the same spot. And I would characterize
all of this talk there was about how the Pirates are going to do all that. They were thinking about Ryan O'Hearn, and they were talking internally about Bo Nix. And what happened? Nothing happened. Zero, zilch, zippo.
I'm not going to call it zero. I think they did what they should do every year. I think they went and did reasonable, actual functioning brain cell major league moves for a team that wants to improve what it was last year. This is the kind of stuff like signing an all-star in Ryan O'Hearn and trading for another all-star in Brandon Lau. Those are objectively good moves, and it doesn't make them a contender at all. This is the kind of stuff that we want them to do, and that really any major league team that's serious should be doing every single offseason. Now, unfortunately, we would run out of pitchers because we traded away Mike Burrows, who started a lot of games for us last year. We traded away Johan Oviedo, who we want to start games for us because you and I both love him. He's a dog. He was injured a lot, and he only has 2 years of control left. So, it is what it is. But they've traded away a lot of pitching depth here, and it's sort of like they shot their shot, and this is what they got. They did I think they did improve their roster. This isn't nothing. This isn't just Spencer Horwitz and then nothing. It's
Spencer Horwitz and one other guy.
Yes, it is. It's Spencer Horwitz and one other guy, but it's a better version of Spencer Horwitz.
Which one's analogous to Spencer Horwitz? Is it O'Hearn or Lau?
I think so. Honestly, the closest analogy to Horwitz is probably Garcia, except Garcia doesn't have as much major league time because Garcia has a bunch of control. There's no
start.
There's no analogy with O'Hearn and Lau because one of them they've got for 2 years and the other one they've got as a rental 1 year. So
that's not what I mean. The point is that Cherington clearly has a process that he implements each time he gets a different bite at the apple, and he is unwilling to go big. They're not, to quote Jason Mackey, they're not going to go shopping in a different aisle. They haven't done so. We all fell for these reports in which they were trying to talk themselves into something, and they were going to leak it out to every single person in the baseball media that they were, going for Schwarber. They're going for Naylor. They're going to go maybe get a Eugenio Suarez or some. They're not doing any of that because they have a hard salary cap because they're poor. They're a little poverty franchise. They're not going to sign anybody. This is what they're going to do. They did exactly what it is that they said they were going to do, which was free agency was not going to be an open ocean for us, quote Ben Cherington. Correct? As much as it hurts the Yinzer brain to hear the words, and we have to take bets on unproven bats. Joe Stinson Garcia is an unproven bat, correct?
Very much.
Yes. And we're going to trade from depth and all that stuff that Travis Williams said. Did they not do exactly what they said at their press conference in September, October?
Pretty close. Yeah. Free agency is not an open ocean. We have to take risks on unproven guys. I would say that the three-way trade with the Rays is more impactful than anything we've seen Cherington do, assuming it works out. Big assumption.
I mean, great. Brandon Lau. I'm a big Brandon Lau fan. I enjoy him as a Ray. I'm going to love him as a Pirate. But guess what, OG? How long is he here for?
1 year.
And
1 year if they don't trade him at the deadline. 1 year assuming they're winning and they have a team that they want to hold together and make a run at a playoff spot.
Oh, okay. Playoffs, full stop. Are they going to sign him to an extension? Because I've seen people on The Fan and on DK Pittsburgh Sports and on YouTube comments say, sign him to an extension. Sign him to an extension. Are they going to sign him to an extension?
Trading for a rental and signing them to an extension is a thing that the Dodgers do.
And is it a thing that
the Red Sox do. It's not a thing that the Pirates do. If the Pirates are going to extend somebody, it's because they have multiple years of pre-arb leverage on them, and they can get them at a steep discount because of it. Trying to extend a guy who is mere months away from free agency, not going to happen. Just forget it. It's not going to happen.
So I'm excited for Brandon Lau. I hope he hits 30 home runs. So, okay, what I want to say is that the O'Hearn signing is what, 2 years and $30 million, right?
2 and 29.
2 and 29. All right, whatever. 2 years, 30. I'm going to round it up.
Round it up.
That's normal run-of-the-mill baseball stuff.
Yeah.
There's nothing there that we should be spiking or dunking on.
No.
We should not be around high-fiving each other going, but crap, they did the thing. They signed the guy. They didn't do anything. That's what they should be doing every year.
That's what I said. Every single winter, they should be picking up a guy like Orion O'Hearn. They should be trading for a guy like Brandon Lau. He's that late ARB guy that you can get for not so much trade capital that you have to pay a little bit of money to because they're in ARB and they're making that money. And that's where you can get that extra value that you can't afford and can't attract on the free agent market. And so they should be doing this every year. And now they've finally done it, but they still need a third baseman. They still need another outfielder or maybe two, and they still need a starting pitcher.
Brian Reynolds, right? They need Brian Reynolds not to suck. They need O'Neal Cruz to be Bobby Witt Jr. They need
Connor Griffin to come up and also be Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah, right. They need Henry Davis to be Bobby Witt Jr. They need 15 Bobby Witt Jr.'s. They need all the Bobby Witts. So I'm not buying into any of this because the reality is this is still a 91 loss team, not a 91 win team. It's not as if we had a high floor and we're building upon it and we're adding two guys to, crest over that hump. We lost 91 games last year. Like, I don't know how else to get it through your skulls that we're not on the upswing. We were on the downswing, and we're making all these moves to a team that is largely needs internal improvements. And if the internal improvements don't come, we're screwed. We're right back at square one with 1 year of Brandon Lau, with Joe Stinson Garcia, which God love him, I love this name because once you learn how to pronounce it, it's the ultimate Yinzer name, Joe Stinson. I'll never not call him that. And Jake Mangum, which I like Jake Mangum. I think he's a really great fourth outfielder. And in a regular team,
He's a really ebullient personality too. I don't know if you saw like the clips of him running around Pirates Fest pretending to be a fan, collecting autographs, and just I would comp him as a baseball like personality to Brent Phillips. If you remember Brent Phillips, the guy who did the airplane home run in 2020, and he was
like
he was
game
on the red carpet for Major League Baseball at the All-Star game, just being an ebullient personality on camera. Jake Mangum has those kind of vibes. And he also has Brett Phillips, fringe major leaguer.
Brett Phillips was like
talent.
had one home run that gave us the wild card game, right?
Yeah.
He was the reason why we had the wild card game for a couple of years. And then he disappeared into thin air. Jake Mangum is probably a really good fourth outfielder, and I wish him the best of luck. And we're going to do a lot of Magnum PI jokes. Mangum PI
good
jokes.
defender, scrappy hitter, tough out. Lunch pail guy. He's gonna be well liked, even if he's not leading the stat sheet.
So Joe Stinson is going to start in AAA.
Probably.
Jake Mangum, right? Jake Mangum, PI is your third outfielder, fourth outfielder, depending.
I mean, right now, is he not your third out? I mean, who's playing left field? If not him, is it Jack Sawinski who's still on the roster? I mean,
it's probably Jake Mangum PI.
Yeah.
Because
they need another outfielder.
I don't know what they're going to do with Andrew McCutchen, but Andrew McCutchen clearly wants to come back and he has FOMO and he realizes that they may not want him back.
Well, that's a good segue. Let's talk about Andrew McCutchen. Andrew McCutchen.
What's there to talk about? I don't want to talk about Andrew McCutchen. God love you, Andrew McCutchen.
We're talking about Andrew McCutchen and his outspokenness on social media lately, where he seems to be a spurned lover who is upset that the Pirates haven't re-signed him. Maybe he assumed that he would get re-signed every single winter. I don't know why, if this was supposed to be the plan, they just didn't do a multi-year deal back in 2023. Or maybe
because he shit-talked them to Noah Howes a bunch about how he hates Ben Cherington, and Ben Cherington holds all the cards now because he's going to get fired next year anyway, and he has nothing to lose. So no, I'm not signing you because I don't have any leverage. I don't care what Bob Nutting tells me to do at this point because Bob Nutting can't control me because he could fire me today or tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. I am a lame duck GM with nothing to lose. So no, you don't get signed because you went in the newspaper and shit all over me.
Is third base going to be anything this year? Are they going to get? They're not going to get Suarez. We're pretty confident that Eugenio Suarez has absolutely zero interest in playing for the Pirates. That's even if they were offering him the kind of money that he wants.
He's not going to get signed. Do you think he's going to get signed? Because I don't think he's going to get signed.
By anybody or by the Pirates?
By the Pirates.
No, I don't think he's going to get signed by the Pirates. I think if the Pirates get a third base platoon or something to pair with Jared Triolo, then it's going to be a guy. It's going to be a 1 year, like $5 or $6 million Tommy Pham contract.
But who is that guy? Because Yoan Moncada got signed by the Yankees.
Moncada did get signed. There's Rengifo. There is Urias. There's a couple of guys out there who can stand at third base and hit right-handed. Although they don't need a right-handed hitter. Triolo hits right-handed. They need somebody who can hit righty pitching. I don't know. The trade market is thin at third base. There doesn't seem to be anything obvious out there. There's a couple of trade names that they could look at. The Cardinals have been shopping Donovan, but he would take a lot. I don't know if they're gonna. If that's the thing.
They're done trading. They've traded everything they have to trade. If
they're done trading from their major league stuff, all they can trade now is prospects, and the only people who want prospects are teams that are rebuilding, and there's like two of them in all of baseball that would have a guy you want. The Cardinals might be one of them, but I don't see that happening either. And so it doesn't inspire a ton of confidence, but I differ from you on this is the same old, same old. I think this is one step up from same old, and I think that it's still probably not a winning roster. It's probably better than 72 wins. It might be 78.
Where does Fangraphs have us at right now?
So Fangraphs did, if you look at the Zips projections, this was before basically all of the moves, so they're already outdated. I think they had us around there, high 70s with a ceiling of low 80s.
Okay, so take the high 70s and add O'Hearn and Lau.
It could be a
And I would-
500 team. If things go
I would
well
cut-
and not everybody gets hurt and stinks, then they could be a 500 team.
Could be. I would say that loser energy is going to hit O'Hearn and Lau because they're going to realize they have to do way more than they're capable of doing, and it's going to depress them. And then their depression is going to leak into the hitting and fielding that they, leak into their baseball playing and make them crappy, like we've seen every year.
Yeah,
So I would say whatever they're capable of doing, I would cut their WAR in half. And I would say if O'Hearn is like a 3-win player, I would say he's a 1.5 win player this year. And same for
Wow.
So both of those guys I would add to just like whatever a 91 loss team. So
Well, we still have
and has this at, I think is what we're going to be at.
we have a couple of weeks until pitchers and catchers report, and then we're off to the races. We got to have a roster that starts to look like a roster sometime in the next 6 weeks. So it's not like there's nothing left out there. It's not like all of the moves are done across baseball, but
Did we get Schwarber?
we didn't get Schwarber. No,
Did we get Naylor?
we didn't get Naylor.
Okay. So we didn't get all those guys. Here's my thing about that. I want to be real clear to Pirates fans that are listening. If the Pirates at any point in time wanted to actually get those players, they could have done so. The fact that, we'll use Schwarber for an example. Like Schwarber clearly was biased towards going back to Philly. He was comfortable in Philly, a lot of success in Philly. His family, is probably ensconced in Philly, and so on and so forth. And so what do you get? A 5-year deal from Philly? 4-year deal? Refresh me.
It was 5 years and 150, I want to say.
Okay. And what did we offer, according to the media?
We offered 4 years, 130, I want to say.
Okay.
Something like that.
That's, to me, and again, I'm extremely cynical. That's not a real offer. That's an offer that Jeff Passan and Ken Rosenthal can say, oh my God, the Pirates made an offer. Look at the Pirates. And that sends a message maybe to a guy like Ryan O'Hearn. So yeah, there might be something positive that comes out of that kind of offer. But that's not an offer that Kyle Schwarber is actually serious about. And if the Pirates were truly serious about shooting their shot for Kyle Schwarber, because he is a very consistent bat, and they think he's going to put 40 home runs into the Allegheny River, they would have offered him 6 years. 6. They would have taken out that loan from Major League Baseball's Central Fund. They would have gone a little bit over budget in one of these extra years, maybe not the first 2 or 3 years, but maybe year 4, 5, or 6. They would have been uncomfortable in that decision. But if they wanted the guy, they would have gone above and beyond to get him. The fact that they did not go above and beyond to get him means that we are getting played. We are getting played in the sense that, like, do I think the Pirates think that they are serious? Yes. I think that they thought they were like, guys, look at us. We're doing the thing. And they're high-fiving. But in the real world, in the reality that pushes back against the Pirates, that's not a real offer sheet. And it's cute and it's cuddly, but it's not real. And nobody gives a shit. And we, as a result, did not see Bo Naylor. And we did not see Kyle Schwarber. Those were two guys that could have, I'd say Schwarber 1, Naylor 2, right? Could have moved the needle. And we haven't seen anything about Eugenio Suarez yet.
Schwarber absolutely moves the needle. I don't know about Naylor.
Naylor, I mean, look, you have to be realistic about about who the Pirates are and what the Pirates, how the team is constructed. Like, would Naylor be a big get for the Pirates? Yeah. Would he be an actual like real player that could like contribute here? Yes. Ryan O'Hearn is a guy that is like 3 years away from being DFA, 3 years in the past from being DFA'd. He has a nice story. I'm like very happy that he was an all-star last year and that we signed a quote unquote all-star. But it's very Pirates-esque and it's incredibly in their like this is something that this is the type of free agent they're able to get because this is the kind of guy.
Well, this is the ceiling of free agent that they can get.
It's a guy that it's like just 3 years ago was like ready to be an insurance salesman, and 3 years later is getting guaranteed $30 million. So yeah, fuck yeah, he's gonna sign here. Sorry, Ethan. You just turned the podcast off.
Earmuffs.
we got 32 minutes in, Ethan. But
I'm still not going to be that harsh. I think O'Hearn is a perfectly fine.
He's a perfectly cromulent.
He's a perfectly cromulent free agent signing. Any major league team, like you're not. No other team would catch flack for signing him, or like maybe like Red Sox fans would be upset if they had signed him because they have different standards.
That's not what I'm. You're not hearing what I'm saying.
I kind of am. I'm kind of not.
This is the pinnacle of a Pirates free agent signing. And that we're out there high-fiving each other about, well, we signed O'Hearn, therefore we must have been very serious about Schwarber. Like, no, we weren't ever serious about Schwarber. And signing O'Hearn is not like indicative that we were serious about Schwarber.
I think Schwarber would have gone back to Philly, like, offer him whatever you want. Philly would top it. Philly didn't want to give him a 5th year, and then Baltimore forced them to it. Because Philly was offering him 4 and an option. Baltimore offered him the same deal that he wound up taking from Philly because it was from Philly, and that's where he wanted to stay. I don't think that it was a performative, like, joke offer that the Pirates were really in on him. But you're right, they didn't
that's
close.
Not what I'm saying.
They didn't go above and beyond.
The deal. They didn't go above and beyond, which means they didn't do it because they don't want to do it. It's like closing a sale in the real world. If you're a salesman and this is like you and I are competing for the same client, I want to get above you. I have to go and do the thing, OG. I have to go out and outsell you. Period. Full stop. And they didn't do it. And they never do it. They never do it. And I'm like mad about it because it's not performative because was it a real offer sheet that was like real money that if Kyle Schwarber would have been like, yeah, I have a second cousin that lives in like Westmoreland County. I'm coming to Pittsburgh. I'm going to take your 4-year deal. Like, oh my God.
Well, then they need to go take that loan out. Yeah.
Yeah, right. The Pirates would have actually had to pay him real, like American dollars. Like it would have happened.
And they would have been able to do it. None of that is a problem.
Sure. It wouldn't have, but that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that they didn't close the deal. They never closed the deal. And that somehow like this is supposed to be celebrated. And it pisses me off because it's not, if they really, really thought that Kyle Schwarber would be able to put this team over the hump, they would have said, all right, we're going for 6 years. We're going to do a Jason Worth circa 2008 or 9 or whatever that was for the Nationals, where they like went all in on Jason Worth and they overpaid him so that they could send a message to everyone that the Nationals were back or up or whatever terminology you want to use, and that we're going to be in play for real free agents and we're going to put a real team together. Or Eric Hosmer, or pick any other team that has had to pay a tax to get up to get one of these guys. And the Pirates will never do that. And we are so eager to be part of the discussion that we are willing to buy into this. And so then we have to, and God love Ryan O'Hearn. You know, this is why we're not a serious podcast. So we don't have to worry about Ryan O'Hearn being offended.
He's not going to hear this.
He's not going to hear this. He's not coming on the show. Yeah, nobody real is coming on this show. But like, we had to like, you know, and then it becomes like Ryan O'Hearn for 2 years and $30 million, which is a very, as you said at the top of the show, a very normal thing to do. And what we should be doing suddenly becomes in context to what we were sold, you know, a big deal. It's a very big deal. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And so this Pirates offseason to me has been one of the most it's not disappointing because I really like Brandon Lau. I'm a huge Brandon Lau fan. I'm really all in on him. Joe Stinson, I love the name. I love saying Joe Stinson Garcia.
I love the nickname, the password.
The password, great nickname. So I'm like a big fan of Joe Stinson, and I really hope he comes up and plays really well. And he's like, oh, I'm behind Joe Stinson. As a Yinzer, it's fun to say like Joe Stinson Garcia, like just like that. It's just so fun to say.
Yeah, and how many of the Yinzers are going to look at the name and say Josty Nixon?
I pulled that out and showed it to my wife and my 10-year-old son, and I asked them both, can you pronounce this? And my wife looked at it and she was like, had no idea. My 10-year-old got really close. He was like looking at it and he goes like, and he was like struggling, but he was so close. And I was like, Joe Stinson. And he was like, Joe Stinson Garcia. And I was like, that's it, buddy.
Nice work.
He was close. My 7-year-old, wear whoosh, went over his head. He was like, baseball? Blue? But yeah, so I'm rooting for those guys. This has been an interesting offseason in the sense that like Travis Williams went out and basically put Ben Cherington on notice that you have to do something. And Ben got up off the couch, okay, and did the absolute minimum there was to do. And we are celebrating it as if it's a coup d'etat. And I'm just not buying in on that because it's still a 91 loss team. They still have to manifest a shit ton of internal improvement in order to make these guys, make these guys fit in. Like without the internal improvement, these guys are just going to get lost and lose their energy. If we get internal improvement, then these trades are going to pay off. Is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I'll take it. Let's pivot. And
we're turning into a Steelers podcast now.
Well, look, hey, our masthead, if anybody ever spotted it hidden somewhere on YouTube or something, it says we talk about Pittsburgh sports, not exclusively baseball. Because we mostly only talk about baseball doesn't mean that we don't have a side eye turned askance over there at Heinz Field. What's going on with them Steelers? So for the second time in our lifetimes, our Steelers have a new head coach.
It's wild. I'm like enthralled by this storyline.
I can tell you are. You have been.
I love it. It's so much more interesting than what the Pirates are doing because the Penguins are doing well. They're on the up. It's like the other two sports teams in town are infinitely more interesting right now than the Pirates.
So Mike McCarthy from Homestead, PA.
No, wrong.
No? He's
Greenfield.
not from Homestead. I looked him up. He's not from Homestead. Where's he from?
Homestead. He's from Greenfield.
Okay.
One of our 90
Wikipedia lied to me.
Wikipedia did not lie to you. I'm going to look it up right now. Go ahead.
All right. Maybe there's some other link to Homestead and I misread it. Anyway, from Greenfield, Mike McCarthy, a true Yinzer, in tears. He was so choked up in the press conference that he is getting to coach his own hometown Steelers.
McCarthy was born and raised in Pittsburgh in the blue-collar neighborhood of Greenfield.
Okay. There you go. I don't know where I got Homestead from. Where did he go to high school?
He went to like some Catholic high school.
Is that in
fun
Homestead?
Fact. This is a very fun fact, though. So like I'm like aware of McCarthy. I've personally root for McCarthy. I might be the only, first of all, here I want to go on the record. You can clip this one. I'm the only person in Pittsburgh that was like excited about McCarthy on Steelers Reddit, on Steelers YouTube, on DK's channel. It was like a shit show. These fucking people, they were beyond pissed. Everybody's screaming about this process. And everyone's screaming about the Roonies. I'm like thinking to myself, I'm actually okay with McCarthy. I'm like, I was okay with Tomlin. Did I think Tomlin hit his expiration date? Yes, I did. Full stop. But like that man had the locker room bought in for 20 years. He never lost the locker room, and that's half the battle in the NFL. So I was like thinking to myself, I don't know if you guys know that if we lose Tomlin, we might become the fucking Jets. Why? Because of the things we've said on this show. Because the Rooney and Nutting are the same guy. They're the same freaking guy. So for me, Tomlin just covered up a lot of the warts with the Rooneys, and I don't think they're the smartest candles on the brightest candles on the candelabra. So I didn't want to lose Tomlin to begin with. I was, was I frustrated with his schemes? Was I frustrated with his, kind of like where the team was at, like constantly getting into like 10-7 and 9-8 or whatever, and then like, petering out in the playoffs? Absolutely, totally frustrated by this. But I also am realistic in the sense that like you can't just pluck a coach off of a tree. So my point is this: I like McCarthy. I rooted for McCarthy for the time he was in Denver or
Green Bay,
Green Bay, and then Dallas. And when they were interviewing him, I thought to myself, oh, they're not going to hire him because that's not like the thing that they do. But like when he was being hired and it was leaking out, I thought to myself, oh, this is like kind of cool. I'm kind of into it. Go on the internet to see what other people think. Man, it's like a Led Zeppelin. It's like the Hindenburg. It's like nobody likes this hire but me. I'm like the only guy that likes it.
So McCarthy is coming not directly from Dallas because he wasn't a coach this past season. He was fired by the Cowboys after the 24 season, right? And wasn't terribly successful there. But here's my question about that.
He was terribly successful. It's Jerry Jones land. It's a disaster down there. He went 12-5 for 3 years. Are you out of your mind?
That's what I'm getting at. Is it possible that the reason that people don't like him is because they're really seeing Jerry Jones. They're seeing Jerry Jones's fingerprints all over whatever they don't like about McCarthy, and they're not seeing the guy who was in Green Bay and it was years and years ago. Same with Tomlin, that they had most of their success. But is there any possibility that he's better than what it looked like he was working under the thumb of Jerry Jones? Jerry Jones, I mean, come on. The guy doesn't let you do anything.
The fact that he went 12-5 for 3 years under Jerry Jones to me is like an utter miracle, because that's a disaster down there. So I think whatever was going on down there, like I don't follow Dallas football that much. Like I watched football in that era and I followed him and thought, I know he got bounced in the playoffs one year, and he got like one year he went to the divisional round with Dallas. They were like the 2 seed, and they got like utterly shellacked by somebody. I can't remember who it was, but like he had good offenses down there, and I remember rooting for him. To go back to what you were saying about McCarthy, the reason why people are mad about McCarthy is what I'm realizing now is it's Steeler ego death. It's because for the last 30 years or so, every graphic on a national telecast has talked about how special the Steelers are, that they're different and special because they've had 3 coaches since 1969, and that they hired these young prodigies, and that they all blossomed into Super Bowl winning coaches. And so that sends a message to Yinzers on Sunday Night Football, on Monday Night Football, that, when they throw that graphic up there, it's like, we're different. We're unique. And I really believe it's not about McCarthy. It's about the death of that idea that is what's causing all of these problems. It's because now Steelers Nation, I thought this too. I thought to myself, my God, the Rooneys are rigid. They're stuck in their ways. They're clearly going to open the Rooney tome and pick out the magic spell and do some alchemy to pull out another 34-year-old coach out of obscurity, and that coach will be plucked and dropped down into Yinzer Nation, and he will win a Super Bowl. And I thought, my God, it's going to be somebody we don't even know. And so Chris Shula from the Rams and Nate Scheelhaus from the Rams were being interviewed and considered, and we were like, oh, there it is. That it is. They're doing the magic playbook. They're going to Hogwarts, and they're doing the spell, and then they pull McCarthy out, and everybody lost their mind, because that tells us that we are not special any longer. That we are just like any other NFL team. That there is no magic alchemy. I read an interview on Steelers.com with Bob Labriola, who is like their beat writer for their website. And he was interviewing Art Rooney II. And Art Rooney said, and I'm paraphrasing, but the gist of it is that there is no playbook for these types of hires, that they simply hire the best coaches that they think are available. And that even back in 2007, they were ready to hire Russ Grimm. Now, full disclosure, I'm old enough to remember the last time the Steelers hired a coach in Pittsburgh, and it was wall-to-wall coverage, pre-social media era. There were no podcasts. There was no athletic football podcast. There was no DK Pittsburgh Sports podcast. There was no Steelers Drive Time podcast. There was no blah, 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 OG and Crab podcast. There was none of this shit. There was no Facebook. There was nothing. So we turned
Stan on the radio. You had Myron on the radio.
Myron was 07. I think he was retired. But yeah,
he wasn't doing a show anymore. You definitely had Stan.
Stan and Guy, I mean, God bless Stan. He's dead now. But yeah, Stan and Guy were still on the radio. I mean, Mark Madden was on the radio. Some of the people who are still here. But like, I clearly can remember in 2007 turning on WDVE, and was wall-to-wall coverage of covering the next Steelers head coach. And everything leaking out was, it's going to be Russ Grimm. It's going to be Russ Grimm or Ken Wisnot. And then literally, it was like a record needle scratch. Mike Tomlin. Who the fuck is Mike Tomlin? They bring out, and not only, I mean, he's African-American. I mean, it blew people's minds. They had no idea. What the hell is this? He's been a coordinator for 1 year. Everybody thought it was going to be Russ Grimm. So fast forward to 2026, and Art Rooney says that in 2007, he was going to hire Russ Grimm until Mike Tomlin came in and blew them away. And so there is no playbook for hiring a Steelers coach. And so what I'm saying, what my entire thesis statement is that Steelers fans are just upset that their claim to fame of having 6 Super Bowls and these young coaches that are somehow plucked out of obscurity by this magic formula are not real. And because, God forbid the Patriots win a 7th Super Bowl. That's a second ego death. And the fact that the Rooneys don't really have any alchemy. It's just they go in, they look for the best guy available, and that's the end of that.
And if anybody's honest and they look at this Steelers roster, you've got an old roster. You are lacking in the most important talent areas. There's no quarterback to speak of. There's no wide receiver to speak of. They don't have any of the offensive talent that the modern NFL demands to be truly good. They've been getting by on good enough most of the time for the AFC North to get, a toe into the wild card round of the playoffs, and then they get jettisoned if they got it at all. So, it's been the last several years under Tomlin. It's like everybody forgets the drumbeat to fire Tomlin. And now as soon as Tomlin's got there, whoa, not like that. No. We wanted you to replace him with something incredible that would save us. Not
the analogy is this. We're married for 20 years and we're bored in our sex life. So we're going to open up our marriage. Right? Seems like a really good idea, doesn't it, OG? Let's see what happens out there.
It's a trap.
And then it's a trap. It turns out that our wife, Tomlin, in this situation, is down in Georgia partying it up at a University of Georgia gymnast. He's hanging out. He's doing his thing. He's having a blast. Tomlin, he's out of it. And then we've opened up our bedroom. We think we're getting laid. We think we're getting Nate Shieldhouse. We think we're getting Chris Shula, the young, hot, sexy people. Nope, a fat Yinzer got in our bedroom. Look who it is. It's Mike McCarthy, everybody. He's got the meat sweats. He's stumbling on his words, and he's calling Will Howard. Will Howard. We got that Will Howard down there. Like, he literally said that at the press conference. He said Will Howard as if he was living here for his entire life. So, we think the grass is greener on the other side until we get, but here, I'm kidding, because I'm actually a fan of Mike McCarthy, and I'll tell you why. He's going to call the plays here, which an offensive head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers is almost like something we've never considered. I mean, it's never since 1969 we've never had an offensive-minded head coach. We've certainly never had one that called his own plays. And so I am willing to eat a Pittsburgh guy, and I'm willing to eat up all of this Pittsburgh nostalgia when I have a salary cap and revenue sharing to cover for it. And so I'll do Mike McCarthy until the day is long. I won't do Don Kelly because Don Kelly is on a, God love Don Kelly. He's got all the same qualifications as Mike McCarthy. I mean, he didn't cry at his press conference, but he came pretty damn close. And I'm going to root for for Don Kelly as well because he's from Mount Lebanon. Mike McCarthy is from Greenfield. They're Pittsburgh guys. They're Yinzers through and through. One has a salary cap and revenue sharing. One doesn't. And so when Mike McCarthy does nostalgia at the press conference and breaks down and cries, there's still hope for me because he can work with a quarterback. He can call his own plays. He has offensive. He runs a West Coast offensive. Steelers team running a West Coast offense is utter madness.
They're disadvantaged, but they're not structurally disadvantaged.
You wanted a different offensive mindset, Yinzers. Well, you're going to get one. You went from Tomlin, who was stuck in 2010, to Mike McCarthy, who is firmly ensconced in 2013, everybody. So we're moving up. We're getting a 2013 offense, and I'm excited for it. But yeah. So yeah, the Mike McCarthy stuff has been pretty interesting to me, and I might be the only fan of it here in Pittsburgh.
I'm interested to see what happens with it. I've been pretty distant from football in the NFL, but I have been keeping an eye on this whole story, partly because it seemed like with all of the fire Tomlin talk, it's like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to fire? Like, do you know how bad this can get?
Like I said, I think that everyone thinks the grass is greener on the other side. Tomlin certainly had his faults, and I'm not saying, Tomlin probably was tired of being the coach here and tired of eating a shit sandwich, and he stepped down, and I don't blame him at all.
Yeah, not at all. But I just like to criticize the fan reaction. I'm not sure that the Steelers faithful, like, they have been so spoiled for so long. I'm not sure that they're ready for a Mark Malone into Bubby Brister into Neil O'Donnell era.
Right. Yeah, they're not. They have no idea. The nephews have no idea what they want because everybody thinks it's just so easy. Oh, it's so easy. Just do what the Patriots did. Are you stupid? Just go
tank for 1 or 2 years, get yourself a franchise quarterback, and go win 6 more Super Bowls.
Go get a Bo Nix. Are you stupid? Come on, you're so dumb, OG. I mean, but the Jets, the Browns, the Cardinals, the Raiders. I could probably pick off a couple if the Buccaneers to a degree. Well, no, actually bad because Brady. But before Brady, like, there's a lot of like franchises out there that have never had like a lot of stability and a star quarterback for a long period of time. And so the idea that you're just going to tank for a few years and just like pluck out a Drake May or pluck out what if you get a Zach Wilson? What if you get a bomb? So like, it's not easy. It's not like playing fantasy football or Madden or, gambling on DraftKings. This DraftKings sportsbook TikTok mindset that everybody has, that it's just like so simple. We're just going to go get
it's all transactional and formulaic, and you just need to gamify it. Like, it's video game thinking, and it happens in baseball. It's like, why don't you just trade for this guy, trade for that guy? Well, it takes 2 parties to do a trade. You can't just turn on force all trades like you can in the show.
Yeah, you can't just draft, like, what are you going to do? Just like draft like Fernando Mendoza? Like, and honestly, let's say we went all out and traded every single draft pick we have for Fernando Mendoza. God love him. Do you think he'd thrive here under Tomlin with no quarterback guru, without anybody to whisper to him? I mean, we're not exactly a quarterback factory. Ben Roethlisberger was pretty much running the show for the entire time he was here. In fact, the fact that he was here throwing temper tantrums as a franchise quarterback and wouldn't let us like draft his heir apparent is part of the problem. And that's part of why we're stuck in this freaking purgatory where we're like running it back with some version of a mutant Kenny Pickett and a mutated Justin Fields and Aaron Rodgers, God love him, and so on and so forth. Like, quarterback play is the name of the game. and coaching and a modern NFL offense is the second part of the equation. And at least McCarthy can bring you some of that. So, the stuff with Tomlin, like, I personally, it's funny too, because like we do a lot of tea leaf reading on this show about Charrington and Nutting. And there's some of that to be done with Rooney and Kahn, because they clearly came out and said, like, we're not interested in tanking. Rooney came out and said, I don't want to tank. I'm not going to tank. I'll never tank. And Yinzers are like screaming about tanking. They're screaming about it. We haven't had a 5-loss season in God knows how long. Think of your lifetime. When have they had a 5-loss season?
It's such a contrast to the Pirates stuff too, because like the Pirates, we get upset that they tank too much, and now we're upset that the Steelers don't tank enough.
It's because there's no in football. You can tank because you have a cap and revenue sharing and all the things we want for baseball. The reason we want these things for baseball so we can tank in baseball and do the things that they do in the NFL. Like, they're not going to be able to do this if we were in some kind of like NFL system that looked like Major League Baseball. I would not be asking for this. I would not want to tank. I would not want any of this stuff that the kids want, like, because it would be a folly. It would be exactly what we get in baseball. It'd be 30 years of purgatory, 30 years of losing. And in fact, in the NFL, you could still end up being the Jets or the Browns or the Raiders, and they're still in purgatory. There's teams, or they're Cardinals. They never get out of this morass. They're always stuck in it. So,
take heart, Steelers Nation, because I don't think Mike McCarthy is going to be the head coach for 19 years.
He's not, but he's going to be the coach here for a long time, for at least
better part of a decade. Maybe,
yeah,
probably
for maybe
safe.
Even.
It is the Steelers.
It is the Steelers. They don't fire dudes, and they're certainly not going to fire this guy because he's from here. I mean, honest to God, Art Rooney is like Irish Catholic Yinzer from the north side. Mike McCarthy is an Irish Catholic Yinzer from the east side. Like, they are the same freaking dude. They look like pigs and slop up there.
I only meant that to say that he's old enough and far enough into his career that he's going to want to retire just from being old and being done with it before 10 years.
Oh, this is certainly got to be his last stop. Absolutely.
This isn't going to be a long haul. So if you're wrong, and if all of the doubters are right, and this is an absolute disaster, it's not going to last a terribly long time. It's not going to be decades like it was with Noel and Cowher and Tomlin.
Here's the thing I want to say about the Steelers process too. I like respect the fact that they like interviewed some people and said, like, we want this guy. I have no problem with that. I have no idea why. I know why Steelers fans are mad about it, because it's the ego death stuff I talked about earlier. That's exactly why I think it is. I was talking to my neighbor while we were shoveling snow, and he came out of his house. I haven't seen him in like 3 weeks because we've been snowed in and it's cold. It's miserable. And he came out and he was like talking about Tomlin and Rodgers and McCarthy. And he said, why didn't they get a younger guy? Like, first thing out of his mouth. I can't believe they didn't get a younger guy. And I didn't say anything. It was too cold to debate. I was like, yeah, dude, we're just shoveling. I'm just shoveling, But like, between him and just the people in my life and the people I've heard on talk shows and the radio and podcasts, it's like they're dying because they were told they were special and they were not special. There's no alchemy. There's no more young coaches to pick out of a hat. And so my point is like, I'm okay with their process, because if they think this is the guy they want, like, they have a veteran team. The Steelers have a bunch of veterans. They have like $1 billion on fucking their defensive side of the ball. So you think that Nate Scheelhaus, a 30-year-old pass coordinator that hasn't called a play yet in the NFL, is somehow going to walk in and be a leader of men, and that these guys are going to be like, yeah, oh yeah, yes sir, yep, yeah, like we see in Hard Knocks, like they're running through a wall for that guy? Like, if Rooney and his son and Kahn looked at the younger set and thought to themselves, I don't know, man, this isn't really what we're feeling, because we have an old team and we're not ready for this like reset. And certainly we don't want this guy to lead us through a transitional phase. McCarthy makes all the sense in the world. It makes a ton of sense. And I'm like, here's another thing too. So Nate Shieldhouse becomes the head coach. Chris Shula becomes the head coach. All right. There's still no quarterback. So they run it back with Rodgers. They sign Malik Willis. They sign Justin Fields. They start Will Howard. And let's say they go 10-7. Gasp. 10-7. They make the playoffs. And they get blown out by the Texans, the Ravens, the Bills. Pick a team out of a hat in the AFC. Suddenly that's a win. We're winning, OG. We've gone 10-7.
It's the exact same outcome you hated under Tomlin.
Correct.
Yeah.
But it's different because he's young. He's young and virile. He's young and he fuck hard. Maybe for 30 years. To me, it's stupid to me because it's like 10-7 is 10-7. The goal is to get into the playoffs and see if you get hot and see if you get to the Super Bowl. These kids these days would have had a hard time with the sixth seed Steelers winning it all. That's a tongue twister. In 2005 into 6, because that was a team that got hot, got into the tournament, got hot, got really lucky and won the whole thing. They would have had a hard time in this DraftKings hot take TikTok mentality that everybody has, where it's like, you know, they're lucky because their schedule is easy. You know, the goal is to be in the playoffs and see if you get hot and see if you win. End of story. Tomlin was doing that. McCarthy could probably do that. Can Nate Shieldhouse or Chris Shula do that? I don't know. And the fact that they haven't got a job in the NFL as of this podcast, but yet the entire hive mind of the NFL apparatus has gotten a hard on that says that these guys are geniuses. They're geniuses, OG. I don't know what they do. I don't know what a pass coordinator is. What's he do? He was just smelling Sean McVay's farts. He was in the room with Sean McVay. He touched him one time. I think he might have got his coffee for him. Yeah. He's just a genius.
He knows all the secrets. He knows all the secrets to be good at football. And then he will bring them to here.
But here it is. Here's the opposite. McCarthy was in a room with Rodgers. He didn't draft Rodgers. He was in a room with Joe Montana. That was old Joe Montana. But Shieldhouse was in a room with McVay. Woo, sexy. I'm touching myself for McVay. Do you see how stupid it is, OG? It drives me up a wall. I get so mad about it because the internet has decided that these two guys are it and that the old fat Yenser is not it. I'm rooting for the old fat Yenser. God,
you know me. I always root for the popular narrative to be wrong. So I'll be certainly rooting for this popular narrative to be wrong, if for no other reason than to, you know, see people forced to eat crow, even though they rarely have to.
I mean, I'm being unfair to Nate Shieldhouse. I'm sure he's up and coming. I think he probably has a way to go. Maybe he'll get a job like that. Grant Udinski, OC from the Jaguars, was talked about. He couldn't get he pulled out of the Browns job. He pulled out of the Bills job. Some of these guys probably aren't ready yet, but yet like everybody was so eager for that Steelers alchemy magic. We got to get a Bill Cowher. We got to get a Mike Tomlin. We got to do the thing. If we don't do the thing, then we're not actually the Steelers. Oh crap. Oh my God. What are we really? Oh my God. That's what they wanted. And so I just want them to reckon with that first and then grapple with that, dissect it, digest it, and then come at McCarthy with like a fresh idea and be like, okay, guys from Pittsburgh, loves the Steelers. This is his last gig. He clearly worked. He worked with Elvis Gerbach. Remember Elvis Gerbach?
Wow,
I remember
there's
him.
the name. Let's name some guys.
Steve Bono, Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I think he worked with, I think he was the offensive coordinator for the first year of Alex Smith. Or I could be wrong, but I think he was like adjacent to Alex Smith. Joe Montana. I mean, he's been in the room with all these guys. So, yeah, I mean, this is the most offensive coach we've ever had. And so, like, I'm looking, I'm all about it. I'm excited.
Well,
give the guy a shot.
We'll see what happens next fall. And
That was a lot about the Steelers, right?
That was a lot about the Steelers, but hey, there's not a lot to talk about with the Pirates other than stuff that happened literally last year because nothing has happened here in January. But spring training will happen in February. It's coming up soon, and even if we are freezing our nuts off up here in the frozen tundra north of Florida, we'll at least get those wonderful videos of the sunshine and the gloves popping and the bats cracking, and it's coming soon. I'm excited for that.
Parting thoughts about the Pirates before we go?
Parting thoughts about the Pirates. I think I am probably 51-49 optimistic based on what they've done. They're dangerously close to being a disaster just if like one or two people get hurt, and if the same people that underperformed last year do that again, it's going to be as bad as it was last year. But I'm willing to believe in a sort of, a sum of the parts being greater than type of a thing. Like it could be, and I won't go into spring without some level of optimism. Otherwise, what are we doing here?
I mean, I do. I know it's hard for the people to believe. I do have optimism in the spring. Because I hope spring's eternal.
That's what it's for.
That's what it's for. Yeah. You get out of winter, you get into the smell of the spring air and so hot summer nights and getting out of the house, like all of that. Like you
get the buds on the trees, get the angle of the sun, all that stuff.
Yep. Garage beers and driveway beers and
got to start cutting the grass.
Yep. Baseball on the radio. Like, that's all part of the cycle of life, and I look forward to it. And I look forward to spring training every year. But the Pirates, this particular Pirates team, I mean, I'd like for it to be a 2013 type of team, where suddenly because coming out of 2012 into 2013, I remember I felt skeptical. I wasn't, 2013 took a while for me to sink into my mind. I remember it wasn't until May or June of that year where I started really thinking, oh my God, this is like a good team. Like it took a while for it to dawn on me. I in fact can remember one series against the Mets where Jose Tabata hit like a game-winning home run in 2013 to win like 2 out of 3 against the Mets in New York. And I remember being like, this is like a good team. And so I'm hoping that happens again. I truly am, because that would be a fun ride and I want to go on it. My logic sense of it is not, I just don't see it. So, I hope
they need to prove it to you. And that's been your stance for as long as we've been talking about these guys. I think that's probably a good place to end this episode, this long-awaited 2 months in coming episode 25 of the OG and Crab Show. Let's try and not make it 2 months to the next episode. Ben Sherrington, do something. Give us more to talk about than the nothing that you've given us here in January, and put a full squad on the field when you get down to Bradenton.
Get us a third baseman.
Go get a third baseman. Go get a fifth starting pitcher. It's just anybody who can throw 100 innings. Go get them.
We traded those guys.
I know, and that's why they need to go sign one.
Got it.
All right. Well, we will come back when we feel like it. Hopefully we feel like it sooner this time. If you like it, subscribe to it. But if you don't,
I don't care. I'm gonna cry like Mike McCarthy if you don't. I'm gonna cry at my press conference if you don't subscribe.
All right. We'll see you when we see everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.